Hey there, avid readers and wonderful humans. My name is Anthony. Welcome back to Board Game Dads. Welcome back to another Board Game Holiday Spotlight. I am joined today by an extremely special guest, Jenn, the Board Game Librarian. Jenn, thank you so much for spending some time with me today. I really appreciate it. I know you're a very busy bee, so thank you for that.
Oh, I'm excited about this series that you're doing. It's such a cool concept. I don't think any
Thanks.
I don't think anyone else is doing this, and I love it.
Thank
So
you very much. I was trying to
yes,
find something a little bit different, which is definitely challenging when there's just so many folks doing so much cool stuff. So, yeah, I thought, why not? And the summer is ripe for random holidays, that's for sure. And if you haven't guessed by now, folks, we are talking about National Roller Coaster Day. So we're going to talk about some thrill rides. Jeb, before we get to any games, though, speaking of roller coasters, are you a fan in general, or is this something you're? Yeah, you are. I thought so. You're a thrill seeker.
I am. I wasn't until met my husband and we started dating, and one of our first like official dates was out at Cedar Point in
Ah.
Ohio, and I mean they're so well known for their roller coasters out
Mhm.
there. But we're going to Disney in Labor Day weekend, so I'm very excited. This is right up my alley. I'm so
Mm.
jazzed about this.
Oh, you have a favorite coaster?
Oh gosh. Um Connecticut has one of the oldest theme parks in the country, and they have a like an all wooden roller coaster.
Oh boy.
It's not as good as the one in New Jersey. Are you in New Jersey? You're
Yeah, yeah,
not.
yeah, yeah. I'm in New
It's
Jersey.
Six
Yeah,
Flags,
yeah, yeah.
the one there. I mean, that one is really
That's
my favorite.
Rolling Thunder, I think, is
I
the
think
wooden
so,
one there.
yeah.
Yeah,
That was maybe the best wooden roller coaster I've been on, but this
yeah.
one's close, sufficient. I don't know. Oh gosh, I love Revenge of the Mummy down in Universal.
Okay, okay. I haven't been on that one. Now you're going to Disney. Have you been to Disney parks before? This
This
is
will
a
be
repeat thing.
my fourth time, and we're going to
Okay.
Universal too, and I do love the Hulk roller coaster too.
Nice. I gotta
So,
check that out. I last time we went to Disney, I did go on the what is it called? The one with the Yeti at I guess Animal Kingdom. It's
oh,
Everest. Exhibition
Everest,
Everest.
yes.
And so, okay, kind of a funny story. I think it's funny. My wife does not think it's funny. So
Uh
we went to Disney on our honeymoon, and she's not a big fan of thrill rides in general, but she went on a good amount of stuff. Like the Space Mountain she handled, and the Aerosmith
oh.
one. I forget what that one's called, the Rock and Roller Coaster or whatever.
One's also great. Yep.
And so we tried to hit all four parks in like 2 days, and we pretty
Oh
much
no.
did. Yeah, we
Oh.
did. Well, we were unencumbered, no kids, no responsibility. It was just we just pushed it. So we went to go to Everest, and it was closed. So we were walked around a little bit more. We're going to leave the park to like where the bus picks you up or whatever, and we had I guess the fast pass thing on our app or whatever, and so it alerted us that the ride was back up and running. And my wife was like, "Should we go back? We're already at the bus thing." I was like, let's go back. Like,
Yeah.
we really wanted to go on it.
Yes.
So all throughout the lines on the Disney rides, there's these posters up every once in a while that tell you what the ride does, what kind of motion it has, so that you know what you're getting yourself into.
Oh no.
And the Mount Everest one does say that you are going to go up high and go backwards and go upside down and things like that. But just by sheer luck, and I had no influence whatsoever, it just so happened that every time we passed one of those signs, her back was to the sign and she just didn't see them. And I was going to point it out because, I wanted to see how it would go.
Oh no.
And so we go on the ride and, she's whatever, she's doing her thing, she's screaming. And we get up. Have you been on this ride? Okay, so we get up to the very top where you
Oh no.
stop, and
Yes.
like if you've never seen this ride before, it's incredible. It's very cinematic too. But the
Yes.
top of this track is all sort of mangled and bent metal, like the Yeti came and destroyed it. And you stop for a few seconds, and I go to my wife. I'm like, "Oh man, look at all this stuff that broke. This must have been what was wrong with the ride when they said it was closed." And she's like, "Shut up! I hate you. That's so stupid." And we start going backwards. She's like, "Ah, I hate you. I hate you. I hate you." But she did fine, and she loved it, despite what she said afterwards. So there's that. That's my roller coaster story.
There's a whole thing too with I don't know when you went, but where they call it Disco Yeti now, where it used to be. So back in the day when the ride first opened, it was the actual animatronic, And the thing weighed so much. If you haven't seen the Imagineers on Disney Plus, that series that they did, they talk about the Yeti, and the Yeti ended up weighing so much because he like jumps out at you
Yeah.
that he was messing up the structural integrity of the actual ride, and there were starting to be cracks in the mountain. So if you look, he's there like in darkness and he's not moving, and now they have the disco Yeti where it's just like this projection and he's
Yeah,
like,
yeah, yeah.
I do love you, Everest. That
That's
is a cool.
so ironic that he was breaking the mountain.
Yes, it's theme.
All right, so Jen, you're a thrill seeker. You're a coaster fan. You are obviously a board game fan, and obviously a book fan, a reading fan. You probably get asked about library stuff all the time, so I'm not gonna bend your ear too much about that. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I will say this though, Jen has the largest gaming public library establishment. Yes, in your library in Connecticut,
I
like
do.
ever created before. So there's that. So if you're in that area, check it out. And if you happen to be curious about starting a gaming library in your own local library, she has a gazillion, quadrillion resources and ways to help you out on that. And that's all I'm going to say about the subject.
Oh, thank you. It was like short and to the point. I love it.
I am curious, however, how you made the transition from, say, board game fan to creating content, videos, and whatnot for various platforms and things like that. How did that start out?
So I've been doing this rodeo probably, and it is a rodeo, isn't it? It's really quite the thrill ride in and of itself. Some days. Probably longer than some folks think. I mean, I've been on the Dice Tower 3.5 years now, and prior to that, I had done Favorite Game Friday with Roy. That was my initial start. But I've been doing Instagram probably since 2016.
Oh wow.
Yeah, that's like OG, and and our content creation, that's like old, right? Old. I don't know. At first, it just became like, oh, here I'm gonna take some pictures of the games that I like, and then I don't know. It was probably about the time that I got the board game program going at my library, and I was like, at the time, it was a very unique and different thing to be doing,
Sure.
and especially at the time too, there were a lot fewer female content creators out there, and I felt like I wanted to represent a couple of things in different ways. That there's lots of female gamers out there.
Yep.
And that libraries and librarians are not always and necessarily traditional things, traditional people, that we offer cool and exciting things like board games.
Yep.
So that was all a vehicle, and it has been a vehicle. The ultimate goal really is it's all mind melding. That if you like board games and you maybe like me, you think, oh, wow, Jen's kind of cool. She works at a library. Her library has board games. Maybe my library has board games. I'm going to go to my library and see
There
if
you
they
go.
have board games too. So that's the
Yeah,
circle
that's
of
the
life.
ultimate circle. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's funny that you mentioned that. Before COVID, the town over from where I live, their public library had started a board game club, and I ended up through Facebook meeting
Yes.
the guy who kind of runs that stuff, and we're friends, and he's even been on my show. I've been on his shows and whatnot. But finally, as of a couple of weeks ago, I think they're going to be able to rent games out of that library. So that was kind of a big stepping stone. And actually, I think you may be chatting with him at some point in the future because he mentioned he reached out to you as well. So I'm not going to steal too much of his thunder here. That's Chris Barrows at Tabletop Express. I'm not sure if he had communicated with
yes,
you.
yeah. He keeps saying he's going to email me. After I get done with this, I'm going to say, now you really have to email me.
That's right.
I spoke to Anthony, and
You tell him, Anthony said, Chris, get off your butt and contact Jen because I have to remind Chris to do stuff quite often. He knows what I'm talking about. Anyway, enough about that. What has gotten to your table recently? Anything you want to talk about?
I don't have it on the table, but we the Kickstarter fulfilled recently, and I had gotten this as like a thank you from Michael and Christina Petre. I think I'm saying their last name correctly. On the Rocks.
Oh, cool. How was that?
I love it. We had been kind of along their journey for a while. Michael had contacted me years ago about looking at the rule book and seeing if it kind of made sense and stuff. And then I had done a preview for the Kickstarter, maybe the first and the second time, because they had had such a terrible time the first go around getting it to kickstart. So to see their dream come true in its final form, I think was just like, they're good, awesome people, and just supporting people like that, I think, is like why we do what we do, right? It's help other people achieve their dreams.
Right. Yep. And spread the joy. And if you can make something that makes more joy, then you should support that thing. So
absolutely.
I agree.
And if you like cocktails, that's
the game looks pretty cool. With the marbles and stuff like that, and ripe for expansion, really, because the drink menu is just endless, right?
Yeah, really cool. I mean, Christina had done a lot of the artwork and the graphic design. So, and again, too, I love supporting female designers in our hobby.
That's great.
So, yeah, that's been a lot of fun. How about you?
Cool. Well, yesterday we played some Patchwork Americana. Oh no, that was 2 days ago. I forget. My days are all messed up now.
What is time?
Yeah, it's a roller coaster. But yeah, we got that to the table for the fourth, and then every time I play that game, I forget how much of a beatdown you get at the end of the game. You lose so many points. It's just the battle of who's going to lose less points. And I won with -1, which is fantastic.
I think my husband says it's the only game that you can win with negative points.
Yeah, that might be true. That might be true. But I still love it. It's a fun little puzzle, and it's quick. Before we go on our like main ride, we're gonna do one of the kind of like the mini rides first, like the little mini like 2-seater roller coasters, like you see on the screen here, like the Crazy Mouse or whatever it used to be called down the boardwalk. So that's gonna be our honorable mention.
Yes.
What game do you have for the little HM?
I hadn't thought about it, but it's probably the one most people are going to think of and have more likely have in their collection, and that's Dinosaur Island. So my confession about this is we have almost all of the things for it, and we've still only ever played the base game.
Yeah, I've only played the game once, and I think it was just the base game. But there's enough going on in that game that you don't need to add more stuff. Now, are you getting the new updated Dino World version?
No, because
Why?
Yeah, we have the broken token for it. I think when we had Kickstarted the expansion, I upgraded some of the meeples. I had these grand plans of filling in with like colored pencils on the broken token. I mean, hello. I love Dinosaur Island at 2. I think it's fine at 2. We usually end up playing either the short or the medium game, and I think it would get a great experience. It's just long enough. I've played it at 4 players.
Yeah, I played it at 4, and it was my first time playing, and I think one other person's first time playing. So it was a long haul, but I enjoyed it. I wasn't like, oh my god, is this over yet? Like I was having fun while playing, but it was lengthy for sure.
Yeah, especially if you play with people who agonize over choices, and I don't. I'm very fortunate that I don't, but I could see how this game could get caught up in that AP land.
Oh sure, that's the worst theme park ever, right?
It is. It's always raining, terrible food, trash everywhere.
I actually wasn't sure if we were going to get off our recording without a hitch today, because I had some pretty nasty storms come through here. I don't know about you. Still,
we did.
So the lights flickered a little bit, but we seem to be okay.
Power went out twice at work. I was like,
oh, all right. So my honorable mention here is one because I haven't played it yet, and even if I had, I wouldn't be able to talk too much about it, and that's because it's one of the exit games, and that's the Haunted Roller Coaster. So besides the fact that that's what it's called, and there's a sort of creepy, shadowy figure in the tracks on the cover that I'm looking at right now, I don't know much about it, but I have loved all the exit games that I've played. I think it's incredible how they still keep thinking of new ways to utilize the parts that you get in the box, and even sometimes the box itself. So there's that.
That's exciting.
So that's our sort of appetizer before we go to the main course on the big rides. All right, so we're going on the big ones. We got your popcorn all settled and digested. Everything's good, right? No upchucking.
No, my Mickey
All right.
pretzel is ready.
Great. All right, Jen, kick us off. Sorry. What is your first pick?
So in our house, we really love Mysterium. So when I heard about Mysterium Park, I was a little, sometimes I don't know, the second versions or the other versions can be a little disappointing.
Yeah.
Mysterium at 2, so original Mysterium at 2, I think is hot garbage. Not good. Don't do it. And I only love Mysterium if my husband is being the ghost. So I have a lot of prerequisites with this game. But I think Mysterium Park works pretty well at 2 players. It goes all the way up to 6. It's a very specific 28 minutes long.
Oh, interesting.
Yes, if anyone can see that there, 28 minutes. They did a median of how long? I don't know. But it's basically the same principles as Mysterium, where one person is the ghost and the other person is the guesser. It has one less round. So you're trying to get the person and the weapon, I believe. And the person who is the ghost is working off of like almost a Codenames-esque grid.
Okay.
Where some cards you're trying to get people to guess the card that you want them to guess. So I like that a lot. The artwork, again, is just like fantastic. I love that there's a ballerina in this game too, because I danced for a really long time.
Ah, nice.
So I think it has all of the bits and pieces of Mysterium, but it condenses it down to a much shorter version. And I like the different theme. It's got
so it's like a sideshow type feel to it.
I'm going to be showing it on Board Game Breakfast in the next couple of weeks, and
cool.
I actually both of these games are coming up on Board Game Breakfast soon.
Wow,
but I had to read books specifically to go with these. But it's just got that creepy feeling to it.
Yeah, you can hear the music in the background, just kind of that slow.
I love that. You could totally get into this game too and plan like a night around it. Have the popcorn and those containers we all know. Have people dress up. I think it's pretty portable too. So compared to its big brother, big sister, it's I like it a lot.
Now, is it possible to play with the cards of the other game or vice versa? Do you know?
Good question. I suppose you could with the guessing cards. You could. We haven't tried that. I mean, the cards are so ambiguous too.
Right. I mean, I'm curious because I know like there's been games that people have used like Dixit cards, for example, in like other games because again, it's just the picture and it can kind of serve multiple purposes. So, I like that. I like the artwork on Mysterium. I would like to check this out. I do get tired sometimes of seeing the same characters on the cards in Mysterium. After a while, it's kind of like, all right, I already gave a clue about the color of this person's hair from last game and blah, blah, blah. So getting the extra boost of new artwork in there is pretty cool.
Yeah, it's pretty cool, and not expensive as its predecessor too. Okay. So if people are concerned about cost, this would be more cost effective for you.
Gotcha. Cool. All right. Well, my first game literally has roller coasters in the box. Now, if I did not get this game for free, I would be a little salty about it. And I gotta admit that I didn't necessarily really love this game. And I don't say that about a lot of games. So, I don't know. It just didn't hit for me. Now, it looks really, really cool. I mean, it's got, like I said, actual roller coaster pieces that you're building. You're attaching them together. And you even have marbles that you're going to roll down this thing to see how it works, which is like incredible. But there's not much of a game here. It's really more of like a toy in a box. The only game mechanics that you really do is you have this weird kind of bidding system, which I didn't like either. You've played this, I'm assuming?
Yeah, you see my hash right? Yep.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. It's just, you have a few of these hills out that are up for grabs, and when you're the active player, first of all, let me rewind for a second. It has the most ridiculous first player, active player marker I personally have ever seen. This giant crane does nothing except sit in front of you on the table in case you forgot whose turn it is. And it's like the most absurd thing ever. I didn't even put it back in the box. It's behind me over there because it's like more of a decoration than anything else.
Yeah.
But that aside, if you're the starting player, you basically name a hill that you want for your coaster, and you name a price that you're willing to pay for it, but you don't get to buy it right then and there. Everyone else gets a chance to buy it for the price that you just said. So you can very well not get the piece of your roller coaster that you wanted. And if you try to, sort of stick it to people and be like, all right, well, this one's going to cost $10, and then it comes around and nobody buys it, guess what? You're buying it for $10. And you only get $24 in this game to start. The only way you get more money is if someone does buy it at the price that you asked for it, and then they pay you instead of paying the bank. It's absurd. The coolest part of this game, which is putting the marbles down the track, you don't even get to do that until the very end of the game.
Mm-hmm.
You only get 3 tries to do it. And if you want to test it out during the game to see if it works, you can, but it's going to cost you $1. So this game makes you pay money, fake money in the game to have the fun that the game is supposed to provide for you, and I just didn't get it.
I forget what year this had come out. Oh, it's 2017, 2018 maybe.
Maybe.
And I showed up under my Christmas tree because again we're enthusiasts, so we tried playing this, and I know had a similar experience where those marbles went down the hill and they never made it back up the hill.
No,
there wasn't enough velocity.
No way.
And right there, the one you have up on the screen, that little itty bitty baby hill right there, and with it wouldn't even
No, and you only get points if your marble goes over stuff at the end.
Yeah.
So you can get stuck and get nothing.
No.
And I don't think, I'm looking at this picture too, I don't know that there's a red starting one that's much taller than this. I don't know how you get the speed to get over this thing. There must be some secret combination that works really well, I guess. But I don't know, man. And then I went on and read some stuff and watched a couple of videos, and everybody had the same complaint that it just did not work. And again, I ended up getting this game for nothing, so I can't complain too much. But I also don't leave a game with a negative experience very often at all. It doesn't happen for me, and I didn't enjoy this. I couldn't wait to put it away.
It was same. I think we ended up selling it again, maybe for $10 because its reputation was out there already.
I think that's why I got it for free.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No one wants it, and I think the person was going to maybe source it.
Yeah.
Purchase the parts. Because again, talk about hot garbage. Hot garbage.
Yeah.
And it's too bad because the concept is so great, and people who love Roller Coaster Tycoon too.
Right. And when I watched Vassal's video about it, that's how he compared it to it. He was super excited because he loves that theme overall. And he even put this only a couple days ago. He posted his top 10 amusement park games, I think, and this was on there.
No.
And it was yeah. Some comments gave him a little bit of garbage for it, but I think, I don't know. He must have a soft spot for it. He just can't let it go. I don't know. I'm not getting rid of it because I could see my son, who's 2 now, eventually just kind of playing with it as a toy. So I'm going to keep it in the box. It's just going to be behind stuff, or it's going to hold something else up for me because it's not that fun.
No, totally agree on this. Yeah.
So not a fun ride. That's why we went on, a kind of a cool ride first. Then we went on a mess ride. But my next ride will be really good, I promise.
Yes.
All right, but you have a second ride for us to check out, and it looks unfun.
It also is it's controversial, and
it's unfair.
Unfair. So my husband and I have a lot of conversations in our house about board games and content creation. And one of the things that we've talked about most recently is the power of a reviewer. And most particularly, we've talked about unfair. And many reviewers have given this game a quote unquote bad rap because there's a fair amount of take that in this game.
Okay.
It's 14 and up, 2 to 5 players, 25 minutes a player. It's basically just a tableau building, engine building card game. Where you're playing over a series of rounds and you're looking to build up your theme park. You're looking to... I love that little round marker there. Or one's like... You're looking to put restrooms, entertainment, staff, all kinds of things. And we had stayed away because very prominent reviewers had been very negative about this game. And maybe around Christmas time, my husband, who works semi-part-time at our local game store, had asked a coworker of his, hey, can we play this game? Like, they maybe just gotten the reprint in and he played it. So he plays it with this guy and he's like, Jen. Completely wrong. So it's usually the two of us in our house. I mean, if you're used to playing a lot of 2-player games too, many 2-player games are very head-to-head.
Right.
And you're used to, of sorts, kind of not necessarily always being nice to the other person. So the not nice things in this game really come from the events that are played. There's one set of cards where you can play something that is good for you on the top and bad for the other person on the bottom.
Oof,
you can
that's
literally
a double hit.
You can literally never play the stuff on the bottom. Literally. Never. So that kind of irritates me of sorts. You know, I suppose it says something about people as players. I love this game. I love this game. I think it's maybe my favorite new to me game in 2021 so far. We're about halfway through the year. There's all kinds of ridiculous combinations that you can have in terms of what kinds of theme parks you could put together. You could have like a Western Mafia theme. You could have pirates and maybe a more traditional theme. But I really like it. I've only played it at 2. I think it's pretty snappy at 2. Moves pretty quickly. Artwork is great. But yeah, if you've stayed away from this game because it's quote unquote mean, I would maybe try to find someone who owns it and play it with them because I don't think it deserves the reputation it's gotten.
Now, is this because there's another version of this game that's not as Take That?
Yeah, so Funfair. Yeah, Funfair, I guess, was the response to Unfair.
Oh, so that's second? Oh.
Yeah, so,
okay.
So many people complained about Unfair and then it was mean. That I think, you know, in response they came out with Funfair, which took away a lot of the meanness. You know,
have you played that one?
I have not. I'm getting sent Funfair, so I'll be curious how it differs. But again, you could play an entire game without ever being mean to the other person. So, I mean, those are choices that you can make as a player. But the stuff on the top that's good for you is like really good for you. So, but again, I really do love this game. I love it. I feel like, oh, this poor game.
yeah, I get it. You feel like you have to protect the game a little bit. It gets bad raps like that cat that nobody wants.
Oh.
How many cats do you have?
Hey. Hey. Just 2, and the ginger jerk many people already know from Board Game Breakfast. But yes, any more I'm probably going to be a very stereotype over here. So whatever, I'm living the dream.
There you go.
How about you? I'm excited about your next pick because we have it at my library.
Nice.
Woo!
Yeah, we talked a little bit about this before we started recording and realized that it's an older game now, which is kind of a weird thing to say, but I guess that's where we're at. This one, I believe, the first time I saw this game was on tabletop with Will Wheaton back in the day,
Mhm.
and it's a really gorgeous looking game. It's called Steam Park.
Mm.
By the way, I should say the name. It takes some of the aesthetics of Coaster Park, but with much, 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 much more of a game involved, right? So
Yeah.
you're still building your park, and you get these cool little cardboard rides that you're going to set up on your little grid of spaces. But this has a lot of different sort of mechanics combined into one game. So there's a bit of I guess you would call it bag building because you're adding the
Mm.
colored robot visitors. It's a robot theme park, by the way. It's not for people; it's for robots. Right. So you're going to try to get certain color robots to go on to certain colored rides here. That's how you get kind of the most points. And so you're going to be adding some to the bag and then pulling some out, and you're going to add ones that you want, to increase the chances of you pulling, but you might not get them. Um, and on top of that, you're also kind of spatially building the park, which has some restrictions to it as well. You can't have rides touch each other, adjacent or diagonal, unless they are the same type of ride. So, like every ride that you see has like three sizes, it's like a one, two, and a three spot, and you can combine them all. And that's pretty cool. And the different artworks are pretty cool. It's got like a steampunky kind of thing to it, but it has some real time dice rolling, which is
Mm.
something I wasn't really used to. I mean, again, this is an older game. This was the first time I experienced something like this, where you're rolling the dice and everyone's just rolling and rolling and rolling, and you can roll as many times as you want. But once you put any of your dice on your little piggy bank card thing, they're there. You can't take them off. So you can see there's all these different faces on the dice. The visitor one is the one that lets you add visitors to the bag and then pull some out. Then there's the tools, which lets you construct the new coasters, the new rides. And then you've got the vending machines, little stands that you can put around. And then you've got all this dirt because these robots are quite dirty, like people, and they leave their junk all over the place,
The
like real
trash.
people. Yeah, there's just trash everywhere. Yeah, I don't know. It's dirty, I guess, is a dirty park. But the good news is you can clean that stuff up pretty easily. But what's kind of stressful about the beginning of this part when everybody's rolling the dice is that the first person to finish rolling their dice and they're satisfied with what they have, they take this number one token up here, and everyone else is still rolling until all of these are taken. In a two-player game, it gets a little more intense because, like you said, it's not like you're being mean to the person, but you're getting the good stuff, and the person who didn't is getting bad stuff. So you're either getting the chance to clean up a bunch of dirt as the first person to finish, or you're getting a bunch of dirt put into your park if you're the
Mm.
last person to finish. You can also expand your park rather a little bit. You can add, like I said, those stands that are going to help you out in different ways. One of them is like a toilet, so you get to clean up more dirt. It's very efficient, I guess. And yeah, I don't know. It looks like a very involved game when I first opened it. There's a lot of literal pieces, so there's a lot of cardboard in it,
Mm.
and it
There
looks
are
like
a lot of
a
pieces.
lot of stuff. It all fits in the box, but it's not really that much of a. It's not an overwhelming game to teach. It's pretty simple overall, I
It's
think.
cute. It's kooky.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, I'd forgotten that it was a robot park, and when you said that, my brain immediately went to Bender from Futurama.
Of course.
Is this the kind of place that Bender would want to go to?
Oh yeah, definitely. There's some interesting looking rides here. I like I like how there's sort of like a different. I mean, there's obviously different color to each one, but it's not. They could have easily made one roller coaster in six different colors, right? But
Right.
they made them all these crazy different rides. There's like this weird haunted house type of thing, and so like fairy princess castle type thing.
Mm.
So it really looks awesome when it's out on the board, especially if you do have a 3 or 4 player game and you can see the 3 or 4 parks being laid out. It's pretty cool. You almost want to go in there and sort of play in that imaginary place. So this is a great one. A lot of good vibes on this game.
It's kind of a hidden gem, I think.
Yeah, I mean it's hard to be anything but that these days, right? I mean, you're either like a knockout hit
Yep.
or you fly under the radar, and I guess it's kind of to the point where we have things like movies that are cult classics, right? There's just sort of this influx of people that discover it at a much later date, and it becomes something that they love. And That's cool though, because that means that the hobby is growing constantly, and there's always going to be a game that someone discovers for the first time, no matter how old it is. So
Yeah.
yeah. Well, we had a fun day at the park. We hit all the rides. We had some good food. We had some laughs. Nobody threw up. It's always a good thing.
No.
And now it's time to fall asleep in the back seat while someone else drives you home.
Who's driving? Wait.
I don't know.
Who's driving the car?
That's the
Or
the
the
next
bus.
video. We'll get one of the robots to come and do it for us.
Yes. Yes.
I do want to thank Jen once again for taking some time out to chat with me here on my channel. And that being said, please go check out her channel. She is on all the things, as she likes to say. What are some of the things that people can find you on, Jen?
Oh, well, thank you for having me on. This was really fun getting to spotlight a couple of games that I don't know, maybe didn't talk about a super lot. So
Yeah.
you can broadly find me as the Board Game Librarian on Twitter, on Instagram, on Facebook, and our YouTube channel is The Literary Gamers, because I'm, just a one note pony. I don't know, one trick pony over here.
Books, baby, books.
So many books.
Coming soon to TikTok as well, I heard.
Oh. Whoa.
I was given false information, then I apologize about
Wow. I mean, there was a board game lip sync battle going on Instagram that I dabbled with. But
Okay.
TikTok seems like so much work.
It's a lot of moving around. Yeah. Well, we had our share of physical activity on the rides today, folks. Thanks again for watching. Reminder, you can check out all of the past board game holiday spotlights, big and small, on BoardGameDads.com or on my YouTube channel. And also, don't forget to like and subscribe. And hey, leave some comments for us. I'd like to see if A, you have any coaster games that maybe we did not touch on here, or B, what are some fun roller coasters that you've been on before, or just what are some nice theme parks that you like to go to? I'd like to talk about that stuff. And that is going to do it for us tonight. Thanks again to Jen. Jen, have a great one, and we'll talk soon.
Bye.
Bye.